Hello friends, Rich with Green Rust back here working on the old 1944 Cckw. The flavor of the game today is the front brake pads. We're working on those, get those so we can reassemble that hub when we're ready. So we'll get started here. So right here is the beast, the chassis of the beast that we're working on. And I'll put this camera up here where you can kind of see the vise and the table where I'm working. So, first thing, safety glasses, and the original pads on these were asbestos, and so you want to treat those with care. Make sure you get rid of those. Use gloves. This particular truck was with the Guard, ran into National Guard for a while, and they started to phase those out, and so I'm not sure if those pads are asbestos or not, but we still treat them as such. So you're going to need, we've got a number 17 drill bit, 3/8 drill bit. We're countersinking these rivets. And so speaking of the rivets, so there we are. These are a hollow base rivet, so you can flatten them out, smash them, keep them from backing out on you. The shaft diameter is 3/16, and the head diameter is 0.375. So that's kind of what you want for these. That's what they were originally. So we've got some of those here. So you're going to need this drill bit. So this number 17 drill bit is just a little bit smaller in diameter than that shank of that rivet, which is what we want, because once we drill a hole through the pad, it'll hold it in place very well. So here's the pad. I've already done a couple just to get things started. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to clamp this into the bracket so that we can mark it so that we can drill it. So I just did this one so I can put it in place again. So we can first center it on here. We'll clamp it. Run it all the way back. So it's good and tight against there, so there's not a gap anywhere. And then you want to make sure it's centered before you start marking things. So, and then you come in, all the little holes here for the rivets, you just want to, with a fine tip marker, you want to outline those so you know where to drill. Then you can pull it off of here. So then we've got them all marked so we know where to drill. So the first thing, we're going to drill through it with the holes. We get a piece of wood here, and then we're just going to find one of our holes. How about this one right here? We'll just drill straight through. Want a good hole, good clean hole. Okay, so that's the proper diameter. So you can see that rivet is going to go through there, but it's pretty tight, so that's what you want. Okay, so the next process after you go through and drill all those is you're going to countersink one of those. So to countersink, you've got to get this is just a wood bit, works great for this. You want to pre-mark it to the depth that you want to go to, depending on the pad that you're using. So then, because it has a tapered tip, it goes right in there and centers itself. That's why a wood bit works really well. And then you want to drill, you can see on the bit, I've marked it in black so you can know how deep to go. And then just slowly work your way through that. Best to put it down on the wood, but I don't know if you can see it as well. So I'm just going to kind of work at it here. Every once in a while, clean that out and look at it. You don't want to drill all the way through. That would be a problem. So get it to the depth that you need to. Right about there, a little more. Okay, so So once you've got it to the proper depth, then you're ready to insert your rivet. So put it back on our little vise here, clamp it, so I'll turn this so you can see it. So it's a little bit tricky getting that rivet through there at first because that it's such a tight fit. So just try to get that started in there. There's always a little piece of material, something that's trying to block your path. Just want to tap it through. Sometimes you have to clean out the holes. The pad kind of works against you. The diameter of the hole going through the bracket that holds it in place is smaller than that of the drill bit, but you get little pieces of pad that get in the way, then it makes it a little tough to get through there. So eventually you get it through there. Probably the hardest part is getting that hole lined up and then getting it through there. Once you get it through there, it'll tap it right in, and then you've got it started in that hole. And then we'll just use the little set key. So we're going to move to this other one that I've already started to do. I've already countersunk those. And then we'll just send one through that. Grab a rivet. So just like we just did on the other piece, try to get that through the hole. It's always exciting. Once you get that started, you just want to tap it in to where it's supposed to be. So you can see that it's countersunk in there where you want it to be, and it's just poking through the bottom end. So that's kind of how you want it. So then you can buy one of these little vice pieces to mount into your vise, so you can do the rivets, get them in there bent over right. So all you got to do then is put that, you may not be able to see it if I do it that way, so we'll just set it here on the wood for now. You're going to set that, this piece fits into that countersunk hole right like that to hold that rivet in place, and then there's your punch. You just want to get that right centered in there, and then you're going to give it a couple of taps. This little vise keeps it from pushing the rivet right back out of the pad. So you can see it's starting to round that tip off. So now we're going to put over here on the steel vise where it's not going to escape. A little harder without clamping in the vise, but I want you to be able to see that better. And then we'll give it some more taps. Now you can see that it started to round that off more so that it can. It doesn't take much because there's pressure from the pad against it. It's just mainly to keep the rivet from backing out. So we'll give it another couple shots. Okay, so that's it's rounded that off, that rivet enough that it can't back out now. So we're going to do that with all of these other holes. You can see I've done a couple here and there to hold it in place, and it's up there tight. It's not going anywhere, and they're countersunk to the point where your brakes you'll have a lot of life in those. So that's how we do the brake pads. It takes a little bit of time. You can have people do that locally if you want. It used to be every auto parts store to do that 70 years ago, but now nobody does that. Our local Napa store told me they used to have a machine to do those, but they've long since stopped doing it because no one redoes their pads anymore. They just buy new ones. So that's what we've got for today. Hope that was helpful in some ways. And once you're all done, you can just put that back on. You can probably buy all this, the pads, the rivets, everything for about $30–40. I've sent those off and had people do those at a machine shop, brake shop, and they'll charge you $150 to $175 to do that. So you can save yourself some money if you want to do the time to put those together. So in previous videos you watched as we'd pulled those off and sandblasted and cleaned those, and so this is just the end part of that. So anyway, stay green, and we'll see you in future videos.